Hi boys and girls. I'm going to tell you what to do on our last step with our friction experiment with our cars. Now I'm not wearing a mask today because I'm having to remake our video because I had problems with the last video. So we have our data with our 3 trials, and I'm going to show you how we're going to make our bar graph. This is what we're going to need to do. So I'm going to show you how we're going to come up with our average. You're going to need to do this. First, you're going to add together your 3 trials. So you're going to you might need a calculator to do this, or you could just add them together because we're eventually going to need a calculator. So I'm going to show you how to do it with the fleece. That's my third one because I've already done the averages. Now an average is going to give us some important information because sometimes we have 3 different trials and it's going to tell us an average where it doesn't go really far, really not far. It's going to tell us the kind of in-between measurement. So I figured out an average for my craft foam, and an average was 32 inches, and these were just kind of made up numbers. For my satin, my average was 43, and now I'm going to calculate it for my fleece, and this is what I do. I add 8 plus 7 plus 6. Okay, so 8 plus 7 is what? 15. 15 plus 6 is 21. Then I take that 21, and I need a calculator for this. And I'm going to divide it by 3. 21 divided by 3. Oh, what happened here to my calculator? 21 divided by 3 is 7. So I have an average of 7 inches is how far it was going on the fleece. 7 inches on my fleece. And because a bar graph is a good visual where we could see and compare our data, how far it was going, what kind of friction we were getting, I'm going to make a bar graph. And this is what I've done. I've put numbers along the side, and these represent the inches. And so each of the lines that are going across horizontally is going to represent a number of inches. So the line on the very bottom represents 0 inches because it's not moving at all. So for each of the horizontal bars, I'm going to go 5 inches. So my first inches, my first bar, or my first line, that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. That's how I did mine because none of mine went more than 50 inches. Now, if your car went more than 50, you might have to put 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. You might have to go count by tens, depending on how far your car went. But my car didn't go further than 43. So if yours went more than that, you might have to skip count by tens to do yours. So now I'm going to make my bar. Now I made my bars nice and fat. I took 2, I think it was 2, about a thickness of 2 on my bars to make them nice and fat so I could see them. And now I'm going to make a 7-inch bar. So that means it's going to be a little taller than the 5 here, because here's my 5-inch line, or my 5-inch line. So here's my fleece, and I'm going to color it in. Now mine is pink, so I'm going to use my pink marker, and I'm going to make a 5-inch bar. So I'm going to bring it here, and I'm going to go, or a 7-inch bar, I should say, and I'm going to bring it a little over the 5 to make it look like it's 7 inches tall. And this is going to represent how far my car went when we had it on the fleece fabric. Okay, so there we go. Now I can compare. I could look to see what type of friction did I get on those surfaces. So I'm looking and I'm comparing and I'm thinking, what is my conclusion? What can I say about this? Well, I can say that my car had the most friction on the fleece. So that could be my conclusion. It had the least amount of friction on the satin. So I can say that. So I'm going to say, my car had the most friction on the police surface. And the least friction on the satin surface. Okay? And then yours is obviously going to be different depending on what you did, what your data shows you. Now, and then I want you to think about, what did you learn from our experiment? I want you to think about that. I want you to think about the different surfaces, the friction. I want you to think about that. We're not going to do the line graph because our data was so close together that our lines were not showing very much difference there. So what did you learn? I want you to think about it, and then I want you to write, what did you learn about friction? Okay, boys and girls? And then you can turn that in. I can't wait to see you pretty soon. Bye, boys and girls.